RNF, Real in the Field, a Carolina Panthers podcast. Y'all come on in here, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, jump in that comment section. Make sure y'all show love in the comment section, man. I'm excited. I got my guy, Will Robinson, in here tonight, and we are having a Bryce Young conversation, debate, grown man conversation about our quarterback. And we're going to get down to the bottom of all the, the naysayers, the Glazers. Like, we're gonna get down to the bottom of it, man. Like, I feel like this is a conversation that needs to be had, and we all know that Will Robinson he's a big Bryce Young supporter. He's one of the loudest supporters, and I like hearing him speak and defend his quarterback. So we got him here tonight, and this is a space over here on Real in the Field where Will, you're gonna be able to get your shit off and be heard. And same this way, I'm gonna be able to get my shit off, and we're gonna hear each other, and we're just gonna have a real conversation about our quarterback, man. So, with that being said, I'm gonna bring him onto the stage, man. Y'all welcome in Will Robinson.
What's going on? What's going on? Real in the Field, man. How's it been, brother?
What's good, man? What's up with it?
Hey, first of all, the intro is fire. I just wanted to see if you could just throw like a little quarter bar in there and throw some South Carolina in there, some low country. That's all I'm asking, dog.
Okay.
Just like, you ain't got to give us a full bar. You understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
Shout out to the SC brothers. You know what I'm saying? Because we rep the squad too. That's our squad too.
For sure. Well, I'm right here in AC. I'm raised in AC, man. So shout out to South Carolina, bro. You know
I was raised in South Carolina, brother. I was raised in South Carolina.
I already know you from Beaufort, right?
Yeah, I'm from a little small town called Beaufort, South Carolina, man. Low country. I'm a Gullah Geechee.
Yeah, okay. I'm from Conway.
My man.
Yeah, Conway, Myrtle Beach area, man. Yep.
Yes, sir. Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Hey.
Yeah, man. But I appreciate you pulling up on me tonight, man.
Hey, I'm glad to join, man. I think this would be fun. I really like interacting with you, and this is the first time me actually, joining your pod. And I always like interacting with you. You and I, we see things in different perspectives, and it's always good to have a one-on-one conversation and kind of get to some of the nuances of what we both think either way.
For sure. And that's all I'm trying to do, man. Like I had the same conversation, same debate with young Freddie Jones. And I told him, I said, at the end of the debate, I want to feel better about my quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Not that I feel terrible about him, you know what I'm saying? But I want to walk out feeling even better about him, because for me, I just want to see Bryce Young reach his full potential in the Panther uniform. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? I might criticize him, critique him a lot, but at the end of the day, I just want the best out of him. That's all it is for me. I can't speak for nobody else.
That's fair. That is absolutely fair.
Yeah, man. So take us back, man. How long you been a Panthers fan?
Oh man, since A1 day one, man.
Yeah.
So in '93, when the NFL announced we was gonna get a squad, right? We didn't know what the colors was gonna be. We didn't know the emblem. We didn't know we didn't know nothing. So in my family, my dad was a New York Giants fan, and I was a Redskin fan. And my first cousin, we grew up like brothers, he was a Cowboy fan. So you can imagine just the sheer bitterness that happened all football season. So my dad said, hey, man, look, we getting our own squad. Let's all just bury the hatchet and run with the home team. And so from that point, my father saying that, in 1993, I got rid of all my Redskin stuff. I got rid of everything Redskin. I don't even follow him at all. So I got rid of all my Redskin stuff. He got rid of all his Giant stuff. My cousin got rid of all his Cowboy stuff. And we've been rocking the Panthers ever since that. A1 day one. Okay. That's my story of me becoming a fan.
Okay. I got a similar story. I started off coming up. I wouldn't say I had a team, but my cousin played for Philly to start his career. He played with Green Bay, And then he came to Carolina. When he came to Carolina, by that time I was probably like, I don't know, maybe 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
So I made the switch to Carolina whenever he came to Carolina, and plus that was home team, like you said. You know what I'm saying? It was closest to the home soil. So I laid my hat with Carolina ever since. So I've been a fan since I would say 99, 2000.
Okay. That'll work, man. That'll
Yeah,
work. I'm only a couple of years more than you. Only a few years. 93. Just a few
yeah.
years. Right.
Yeah, so when we started in '95, I was rooting for Green Bay because that's who my cousin was playing for at the time. So
Makes sense.
yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah. But yeah, man. So let's get this conversation started, man, about this young quarterback. You know what I'm saying? This polarizing quarterback, whether you love him or hate him, man. Like I don't understand why it's so hard to have this conversation about him, man. But we're gonna attempt to do it tonight. So let's
Let's give it a shot, man.
yeah, let's give it a shot, man. So I want to start. I want to just take it back and just start from day one. Day one. We can take it all the way back, like to the beginning, and see where it started at with you. And that's gonna be the draft process. So during the draft process, we had that. We traded up to get that number one pick. Were you a Bryce guy, or were you C.J. Stroud, or were you looking in a different direction?
I was initially a Stroud guy. I was a Stroud guy. I was a Stroud guy when they played Georgia in that title game. That's when I wanted Stroud, right?
Mhm.
And that's before we even traded up. I was initially always a Stroud guy. So, yeah.
I'm surprised to hear you say that. I thought you
Yeah.
were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say you was a Bryce guy.
No, I was a Stroud guy initially. I was a Stroud guy initially.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: why were you more of a Stroud guy than over Bryce?
Well, I hadn't watched a lot of tape on. I was a prisoner of the moment, right? Watching that game, watching his poise against Georgia,
Yes, Georgia game. Yeah.
and watching his poise against Georgia, knowing that he was coming out, knowing that he possibly could fit our organization. We needed some kind of quarterback. We needed a North Star. And so I was a prisoner of the moment. Hey, I want Stroud, right? That was my initial assessment. So initially, all in, I was a Stroud guy. That was why I was a prisoner of that moment.
I can understand that. I was a Stroud guy too. Like you said, I didn't watch either quarterback a lot in college until the draft process. That's when I really started to watch the film and the tape on both of them. But for me, like you said, that Georgia game showed me a lot with C.J. Stroud, and then it wasn't that either. It was just I felt like from the pocket he was better from the pocket than Bryce was. Even though they said Bryce was better, making plays, improvising and things like that. But I felt like that pocket, pocket quarterback is what I was looking for coming out the draft.
Right.
Well, I was Team Stroud, but when I looked at Bryce, I had concerns because when I scout quarterbacks or when I look at these quarterbacks or any player, I like to look at their football journey. And when I look at Bryce's, going back to middle school, he played for powerhouse programs, and he won a lot. He was the quarterback. So he gets all the credit for winning. He's a winner. This, that, and the third. Which is cool and all, but at the same time, you put a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of talented kids in those situations, they're going to win too. And you don't know for sure if this particular player in that situation, if they was in a different situation, would they be able to elevate it?
Mm.
It's not to say that they can't, but can they? You know what I'm saying? It's a question mark. And when I look at C.J. Stroud's journey, and then Bryce, he went to Mater Dei. Mater Dei is like one of the best high schools in the country. It has
Right.
been for years. A powerhouse. Then he went to Alabama, a powerhouse. You
Right.
know what I mean? He went to win. He's been in winning situations. He's never really had to elevate it. You know what I mean? So I question if he could do that. And I felt like a franchise quarterback, coming to the NFL should be able to do that. And CJ Stroud, I look at his football journey, him at his high school years, he was at a program at Rancho Cucamonga where he elevated it. It wasn't a powerhouse program, but he elevated it. He was under the radar. He came out of nowhere, went into these camps, competed, and worked his way to get where he at. I felt like that embodied. And then his backstory, how he came up, his family, the struggle, the typical story that these athletes go through. But he made his way out of it. To me, all of that, if you add that up, it embodies keep pounding. And Bryce Young, not that it's a knock or something he should be criticized for, but he came up, he had it easier. Both parents, good careers, great home. So I feel like the kid who got it out the mud, I felt like he had to work the hardest, and I feel like that's the guy you want as a franchise quarterback, and that's the guy that embodies keep pounding. So it was Stroud for me.
Yeah, I mean, I can see your point, but let's look at it. Modern day doesn't play like the local schools around the corner, right?
I understand, yeah.
Modern day is walking their Rumpelstiltskins into Texas,
You're
right? Oklahoma, all across California. They flying out east to play, in tournaments in Florida, right?
Right. They play the best of the best.
They were playing the best of the best. So it was
You're
good
right
on good, right? And I get what you're saying when you say, Stroud had a more of a traditional journey. And another thing that we got to fight the temptation of, and I'll just be truth in lending, is that, okay, well, Bryce had both parents, successful careers, all that stuff. That don't mean that he can't QB. You know what I mean?
Right. You're right.
And just because you're given the tools to succeed, no one, and I'm just calling a spade here, no one would say a white quarterback with all the resources wouldn't have been a great quarterback.
Right about that.
But in our minds, and I'm saying ours, yours, mine, a lot of us that are African American or black Americans, right? We think that we have to have some form of get it from the mud in order for it to be seen as, built from the diaphragm. And
I wasn't saying like he has to, like it has to be that way, but if a guy who has been through the struggle and made it out,
right.
They can overcome obstacles. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
They know how to get through a hard time. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, right?
Right. I get what you're saying. Now, with that being said, look at all of the struggles that Bryce has went through while in uniform here in Process Blue. He's shown the definition of resiliency. He's shown the definition of resiliency. So I get what you're saying. And Stroud has been able to show his definition of resiliency. And he's going to really have to show it this year with Stroud because of how his 2025 campaign ended. So we're going to really be able to see their inner metal, their interpersonal skill, their inner courage, their commitment, and their ability to achieve despite all the other ancillary things that surround them. Mm. Both QBs.
Right. And I will say, about the thing about resiliency, like he has shown resilience since he's been a Panther. He's been benched. And since he's come back from that benching, he's been a much better quarterback.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I've said that on numerous occasions, and people act like they don't hear that when I say it, but like he's done nothing but continue to get better. He's had, his bumps in the roads, his ups and downs. He's, still had, his tough games, but overall he has improved. And we see where it's led to so far.
Right. So where I was concerned with Bryce in the pre-draft process, because I think we're still talking pre-draft process, right?
Yes, sir.
Where I was concerned with Bryce was obviously his size. Who wouldn't? So you got to think about Bryce Young, his size, and where we just came from. We came from a 6'5" juggernaut. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
And then we're going to a 5'11", 200 pounds soaking wet with 2 bricks in his back pocket. Culturally, from the Panther fan base, that doesn't make sense to us. That 1 + 1 will equal 2 for us. So for us, we always think, because we were the first franchise to draft a 6'5", 240, 50-pound running, gunning quarterback. Randall Cunningham wasn't that big. So Mike Vick wasn't that big. We had gotten accustomed to it's like we got accustomed to a type, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I've heard, Panther fans, the quote unquote Bryce haters, I've heard you can hear some of them still can't get over, Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta speak for myself. I'm not one of these guys who feel like because we had this big running quarterback, we gotta stick to that model. Like I'm not that guy.
I dig it. I absolutely dig it. I mean, I tell you right now, I'm still not over Cam Newton, dog.
No,
I'm still not.
Cam is a Panther legend. Like, Cam is a Panther legend. Like, what he did for this franchise. Right. Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
I am still. If Matt Rule is literally, he tried to deconstruct who we were. And by getting rid of Cam Newton, he thought he would be able to build something within his own image, and he was wrong. So
I would say David Tepper had a lot to do with that as well.
So I don't think so, and here's why. Here's the reason why I don't think it's lesser Tepper than it would be the executive office for the Panthers. Mm-hmm. When we brought Cam Newton back, where's the first place he went? To David Tepper's house up in North Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
Because David Tepper wanted to have that conversation with him. I will tell you this, and the reason why I'm saying this, I just want to point out one specific thing. Mm-hmm. So my grandson's name is DJ Devereaux Jr. His name's DJ. Mm-hmm. So when we was the last training camp that we could actually be out there at the facility for training camp, so me and my wife and my grandkids were out there. And so my grandson went up and shook David Tepper's hand. And David Tepper was like, hey, how you doing? And like, what's your name? And he was like, my name's DJ. And he said with a straight face, your name is the exact name of my wife's absolute favorite player that she loves the most, DJ Moore. And they traded DJ Moore. Think about that.
Yeah.
So he had to walk into that house and say, DJ Moore can no longer be a Panther. And he knowing full well, you got a wife. Go in there and tell your wife that you got to make this tough decision. She's going to support you. But you know that you had to fight against the urge to keep that player.
Yeah.
So I think that it was a decision made at the executive level that Tepper wasn't going to get in front of. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion. I mean, I have no facts on it.
That's interesting enough. But I feel like when it comes to, like, what were we saying about when we brought up Cam? Oh yeah, about you mentioned Bryce's size. Like, I didn't want like a Cam Newton, another 6'5", 250-pound quarterback. But with Bryce Young being, what is he, 5'8"? I mean, 5'9", 5'10"?
He's 5'11", dog. Come on, y'all.
Okay. But my only concern was, is he going to be able to sit in the pocket, you know what I'm saying, and see from the pocket? Because when he was in college, from the film, it looks like he scrambled around back there to find lanes to make passes. I'm not sure, did he not see passing lanes and he had to get to certain spots to make the throws? In the field, the pockets are tighter. You're not going to be able to scramble around as much to make those throws.
Absolutely. You're 100%
So
right about that.
I was
That's not
concerned that
that's
was going
not
to
a
translate to the
that's
league.
not a hit.
Say it again.
That's not a that's a very valid in the pre-draft process. That's a very valid discussion point. Will he be able to effectively play from the pocket?
Yeah. And that's why I like Stroud better, because I saw that Stroud could, and I wasn't sure if Bryce could, even though I saw that he could, create off the dribble,
Right.
improv and play make. But so that was a major concern. I'm not gonna say a major concern, because we saw shorter quarterbacks, we saw the Drew Breeses, we saw guys have success in the league. So I'm not gonna say it was a major concern, but it was a question that I had. But what was a major concern, and it might not have bothered most fans like that, but for me, I guess I'm selfish, you know what I'm saying? I want to see the guys competing. So when he showed up to the combine with the backpack on and he didn't compete, I was like, it's Stroud for me. I made my decision right there. I said it's Stroud for me, because he didn't. I'm like, why is he not competing? It was questions about his arm strength, about his arm talent. I'm like, man, go out there and show him what you can do. And the fact that he didn't compete, I
But
was
he threw
like,
at Alabama.
he did. He threw at his pro day. But for me, from my understanding, at the combine, they put you through a different type of stress test than they do at the pro day, because your pro day is more controlled and it's more scripted to how you want it. The combine
Right.
is different. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted him to compete at the combine, and he
Why? I
didn't
mean,
compete. So I'm
but
like,
let's look at it from a business perspective.
let's do it.
If I'm already considered the #1 overall pick, most people at that point already knew that we more than likely was going to pick Bryce Young.
I get it.
So why, from a business perspective, if I was advising him as his agent or his inner circle,
Mm-hmm.
you can only mess it up.
Yeah, I completely. He's not wrong, right, from a business aspect. If you already got that #1, if it's sealed and it's sealed and you that #1 pick, you can really do nothing but hurt yourself by performing in the combine. Like, I understand that. Like, if you're gonna be the #1 pick, there's really nothing to prove. So from a business aspect, I get it. But like I said, as being a selfish fan and thinking about it from like a competitive aspect, and like if you're a competitor, you're still going to go out there and say that, you say, I can't do this, that, and the third with my arm. Go out there in the combine where it's just you against air, and just show what you can do.
I get it, but that was for C.J. Stroud to do, because no one even thought that he was going to go as the 2nd overall pick.
Right, he had. They
had already talked about the Wonderlic test and his intelligence. You remember all of that?
Yeah, he had everything to prove.
And the thing about it is, I believe that Texas was going to pick him anyway. That teams further down at the 3, 4, 5 spot were trying to create this narrative.
Yeah,
for him not to be Carolina or the Texans selection. So C.J. Stroud was working with a different set of equations than Bryce Young was working with.
Right. You're right.
But I can see your point. Like, you're saying, hey, I want you to compete. I want you to sell me on yourself.
Yeah.
For him, he already sold himself to the organization in the beginning.
Right. But for myself personally, I'm still trying to evaluate. I want to see, like, we all want to still see. Like, I think we all want to see him in the combine. Like, who didn't want to see him in the combine? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, man.
But like when he came in, when we drafted him, like, I wasn't sure. Like, I thought we was gonna go Stroud, but when we went Bryce, I was a little upset, because I was like, I already envisioned Stroud in the #7 jersey and everything. I'm like,
hey, I was at that draft.
Oh, you was there?
Yeah, I was there at the draft.
Yeah.
I was all the way up front. So my picture that I got of Bryce Young shaking Roger Goodell's hand, that's my personal picture. One day I'm hoping that I could get Bryce Young to sign that.
That's dope, man.
Yeah. Hey, real quick. Also, not this year, not this draft, but next year draft in 2027 is in Washington, D.C.
Uh-huh.
And I'm hosting, like, I'll be up in, I got I'm always up in DC working. I know I live in Georgia right now, but I'm up in DC at least 2 times a month working, and I lived up there for 8 years. So I'm hosting a lot of people up there for the draft. And you're more than welcome to come and hang out with us. It's going to be a whole bunch of Panther fans and all kind of other fans of friends of mine that's going to be there. Bucks fans, Commander fans, all that stuff. And we're going to all go to the draft together. You're more than welcome. You can make a vlog of it.
Yeah, the 27 draft.
Huh?
You said the 27 draft?
The 2027 draft, right. Plenty of time for us to be able to book hotel rooms and all that stuff.
Okay. All right. Say less.
All right.
Say less. But yeah, when we drafted Bryce, like I said, I was upset initially, but going into his rookie year, it wasn't like I was hating on him to the point where I was wishing bad on him. Like I wasn't sure how he was gonna perform. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to get into next, his rookie year, because that was a big thing too. I think that's where a lot of people wrote him off, was his rookie year, because that's where, he had it the roughest. So we're gonna talk about his rookie year. So let's get into that.
Word up.
We bring him in. We invested a lot to go get him. Like we all remember, we had the number 9 pick, and we traded up with Chicago to go get him. Gave up some assets, DJ Moore some assets to go get him, and it was a big move by the organization to go do that, because we've been fiending for a franchise quarterback, for how long? Since Cam left.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We've been desperately looking for a franchise quarterback, and we get this number 1 pick. We bring in Bryce Young, who has his decorated career. His winner from Alabama, Heisman Trophy winner. We bring him in, and there's a lot of expectations. You should expect a lot from a number 1 pick. Like I said, a guy as decorated as Bryce Young, as hyped up as he was. You expect a lot. And we have to be realistic when most quarterbacks, a number 1 pick coming in, most of the time they're not coming in good situations. So you got to be realistic with your expectations.
Yeah, you're right.
So Bryce Young, he came in number 1 pick, but like I said, we wasn't a true number 1 pick. We traded from number 9, so it wasn't as bad as it seems. You know what I'm saying? We won 7 games and damn near made the playoffs. We were a game short of doing what we did this year.
Correct.
Making the playoffs, winning 8 games. We was a game short of doing that the season before we got Bryce.
Correct. 100%.
And then we basically cleaned house after that season. We let Steve Wilkes go. Bring in Frank Reich and the crew. We brought in some free agents. So going into his rookie year, do you feel like he came into a bad situation, or what would you say the situation was when he came into year 2?
Okay.
I'm sorry, rookie year.
His rookie year. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. People always like to say we gave up 2 first rounds, a second round, and DJ Moore. We gave up a first round, a second round, and DJ Moore. We did a pick swap in the first round of the 2023 draft. People always like to say, like, they try to make it seem like it was more of an investment. So we gave up a first, a second, and DJ Moore is what we gave up. Now, here's where we screwed up. And I'm talking about we as the franchise screwed up. One, as a franchise, I think bringing in Frank Reich, then Frank Reich not picking his offensive coordinator, his defensive coordinator, all this stuff. They thought that they could put together this dream team staff. And I think that the Panthers felt that they could invest their way into a top-notch staff without establishing culture or anything. They tried to take the shortcut And with that, I mean, hell, you got Deuce Daly ass out there yelling about giving the ball. What's the dude that came from Philly?
Miles Sanders.
Give Miles Sanders the rock, right?
Yeah.
And now he's arguing with Frank Wright. You got Thomas Brown over there as the offensive coordinator, but not the play caller, and two different offensive schemes. Frank Wright was a traditional drop back, 5-step drop, release the ball, play action pass offense. There was no way. You see, I mean, it was like it was too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, you make a good point when you say that, especially when you say they brought in like this dream team staff. Because
and we tried to take a shortcut.
I don't know if a lot of people remember this or paid attention to this, but at the time that coaching staff, when we had Frank Wright, those guys had like a combined 20 Super Bowl rings.
Correct.
So we had a lot of coaches, assistants and stuff that have been around and had success with other teams. So like we had a legit coaching staff, but like you said, there was no established culture. You know what I'm saying? You can't just slap a bunch of names together. That's the same thing on the field. Like you can't slap just a bunch of big name players on the field and think it's gonna click.
Correct.
It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? The mindsets, everybody gotta be thinking the same, gotta be on the same track. Like you said, too many cooks in the kitchen. And I will give you that.
So with that being said, I got prisoner of the moment. I don't know about you. I mean, I can look back, hindsight with 2020 vision now and see why this failed. But at the time, I'm like, God, boy, we cooking. We got the QB of the future.
Yeah.
Brother, we even thought we had the offensive line. People was calling them the great line of Carolina.
Yeah, going into his rookie year, a lot of people felt like we had a pretty good team around him.
Right. I did too. But now let's look at this.
I'm not gonna say it was the best. It wasn't perfect, but I feel like it was a decent situation for number one pick to be drafted into. I'm like, this is not bad what we got.
So now let's look. And now I wanted to just point this out. Let's look at the pass catches that we had there at the time.
Wait,
DJ Chark.
Before you mention the pass catchers, right? You mentioned Frank Wright, right? Frank Wright wanted CJ Stroud. That was a problem. That was a problem right there.
There's never been any definitive proof of that. People say that, but there's been no proof of it.
There's no definitive proof, but we heard what Frank Wright said. You know, we saw the energy that Stroud got from Josh McCown at the combine. Like all the signs was pointing to CJ Stroud, and it seemed like Tepper wanted Bryce. So he overruled whatever, and they rolled with Bryce.
So that's what we believe. We have no proof.
That's what we believe. We don't all know for
sure. We have no proof of that. What I will say is this: what we do know, I think, is a fact, is Stroud's type of quarterbacking more fit Frank Wright style offense.
You said does it fit? You said does it more fit Frank Wright's offense?
I said CJ Stroud's style of play as a rookie better fit Frank Wright's style of offense in 2023.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we can say that. So we can assume that's what Frank Wright wanted. However, we don't know if the scouting staff was telling Frank Wright something different. We don't know if it was the owner or Scott Fitterer or anybody. We don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
The coach can weigh in, but the coach don't get that final decision. Right? So, but I get the point. Like, I can see how people can come to that analysis, but I don't know if that's true or false because, Frank Wright publicly said, I wanted Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that it's true, right?
Yeah.
Because he wanted to get back into the league. He don't want to cross up an owner if that was the case.
But if you look at some of the firings, like most of the guys guys who were like more Team Stroud, like they let go of Deuce Staley. Anybody who wasn't on, Team Bryce, they let them go.
But
McCown,
think about it like this. When you've invested so much in that thing, bro, you a freaking running back coach.
yeah,
Yes.
you insignificant.
Is it you or the person that we traded up to get? Hey, bro, you supposed to make what works for us. If you're
Right,
not going to be on the same
right,
sheet of music, if you want to be the bass
right,
guitarist, but we
right. But
really need you to be the drummer,
it go back to what you said. They try to put an all-star staff together, but
correct.
there's no coach. There's no coaching. It
Correct.
goes back to
And
what you
and
said.
can you believe that Miles Sanders tried to blame Bryce Young for his lack of productivity? Then what happened to him in Dallas?
What might refresh my memory? I can't remember what Miles said about.
So Miles Sanders was kind of saying, oh yeah, it's kind of like, it was the offense and QB play that caused me to have less productivity in Carolina. When he went to Dallas, then he went to Dallas and they had no productivity. And his ass is out the league today.
Yeah. And then Miles,
So
he struggled with injuries bad too when he was with us. He was never really
he struggled with
healthy.
injury. Yeah, there was a lot
That
going
was
on
his
there.
main thing. Like he came in here injured, right? He had a
He
hamstring
came
injury.
to us. Yeah, he came to us injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what held
But
him
I'm
back.
just pointing out like the Deuce Daly, and I'm a Deuce Daly guy. I mean, Deuce Daly from the SC. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? He from the Met.
Yeah.
So I'm a Deuce Daly guy. I'm not saying that I'm not a Deuce Daly guy, but what I am saying is if I am leading an organization and this is the direction that the organization is going, and we've listened to you and we've heard you out, and you're still talking about what it is that you want to do and the way you want it going, the way you want it, then you are no longer valuable to us. You're not helping us. So I need to move you out of the way. That's how it works.
I understand.
That's why Frank Reich ass got pushed up out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, it goes back to culture, man. It's never gonna work.
Right.
It never would have worked. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If we would have drafted Stroud, it would have been a different story.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. Stroud would have still got sacked 63 times.
You're right.
Stroud would have still had Miles Sanders as the number one running back and not Chuba Hubbard.
But
He still would have had Frank Reich freaking simple offense. He still would have had a very suspect defense. And you said hold off on the pass catchers, but his pass catching compliment would have been the same as Bryce Young.
So Stroud on the Stroud aspect of it, when he goes to Houston, you like at that time, did you view him going into a better situation than where Bryce was? Because he came in when
No, I
Houston
didn't. I was a prisoner of the moment. I didn't. And here's what I would tell you. Let's talk about culture. Why does DeMeco Ryans' culture resonate so quickly with the Houston Texans? Because he was a Texan.
I understand.
That's what he played.
But see, Frank Reich was also a Panther as well. So
Frank Reich was a Panther for 1 year as a backup quarterback.
True, true.
Come on, man.
Well,
DeMeco Ryans' professional career
he was our
was
day one starter when our franchise started, right, with the expansion team. From my understanding.
Right. And so like I'm just saying, DeMeco Ryans has done a tremendous job of building, not only reestablishing the culture that they had, having the right coaching staff, and you cannot say that Houston Texans defense is like a pack of rabid dogs, that front seven.
It is, but I'm talking rookie year when CJ Stroud stepped in there.
Right.
They put a good team together, but their offense, he elevated it, man. Like nobody knew who Nico Collins was.
Exactly. But we didn't have a Nico. Where was our Nico Collins?
Nico Collins wasn't Nico Collins until he started playing with CJ Stroud.
No, I'm saying who right now. Okay, so and I'm just saying, let's say we had Nico, let's say whatever the pass catchers we had on our roster, who on our roster is a Nico Collins?
When Bryce's rookie year, he had Adam Thielen. That was his best
No.
receiver.
You want me to help you? He had DJ Chark, Jonathan Mingo. Neither one of these dudes in the league. Adam Thielen, Terrence Marshall Jr., Laviska Shenault, Hayden Hurst, Tommy Tremble, Ian Thomas. Then he got head case Deontay Johnson. He was a head case.
Well, we just talking about the rookie year right
I'm sorry.
now.
I'll stop right there. Then we'll talk about year two. But yes,
Yeah, year two next.
What I'm trying to say here is, I thought that DJ Chark equaled Nico Collins, and I was wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nico Collins is DJ Chark. You know, before he came to the Panthers, he had more success in the league than Nico Collins to that point, and so had Adam Thielen. Like I said, you know, Nico Collins, we've never really heard him make a name for himself until he started playing with Stroud. You know, I believe Stroud elevated him. And you talk about Bryce getting sacked a lot in his rookie year. TJ Stroud got sacked a lot in his rookie year too, and he still is. He hasn't had a good O-line in front of him since he's been in Houston.
He only got sacked 37, 38. I think it was high 30s his rookie campaign.
I'm not sure what the number was, but he's never had a good O-line since he's been in Houston.
It's the high 30s. So the best offensive line he's had the entire time he's been in Houston was during his rookie season.
Yeah.
Outside of his second year and his third year, they just made the O-line worse.
But see, I'm gonna say this about the rookie year, then we can move on from that, because to me, a rookie year for any quarterback, whether you have a great rookie year or a terrible rookie year, it doesn't define what your career is going to be.
Yeah. So can I just make one more comment about the rookie side of things, since I am the Bryce Young supporter?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I was concerned that he would not be able to come back from that. I did not think he had the resiliency and the personal courage, like internal mechanisms to not only lose all those games, but watch the guy drafted behind him ball the hell out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And CJ Stroud is his friend, and he's stuck in Carolina. And it is clear at this point that everything that we thought was levels of success, coaching staff, we changing out we're getting a new coaching staff in here. We know that the pass catchers are junk. We know that the running back room is in disarray. We personally know that there is no offensive line here. I was worried that I didn't think that he would be able to get past it. But that doesn't mean in year two, I wasn't going to throw my cape on for him because he wear processed blue.
Yeah, but I'm with you on that. I was concerned too, because that rookie year, he didn't really show any flashes. He didn't really show a whole lot of fight. Like you said, the confidence thing, it seemed like the confidence was an issue. Like I didn't see it. So I was very concerned too, man.
Right. But that's
very real. That's very real of you to say that. That's very real of you to say that.
Yeah.
But so going into year two, you know what I'm saying, after seeing year one, like I said, for me, the rookie years, to me, CJ Stroud had a great rookie year. All-time great rookie year. One of the best rookie years we've ever seen.
Right.
You know, took a team, a 2-win team, to the playoffs. He took them to the playoffs. Damn near had an MVP season. Bryce Young, he had a historically bad rookie year.
Now let's qualify this. Let's qualify this.
Mm-hmm.
CJ Stroud. Let me back up. The Houston Texans, because he wasn't the only first round draft pick they had that season.
Oh,
right?
You're right. They went and got Will Anderson. Yeah.
They got Will Anderson. They had Daniil Hunter. Yeah. They had all of this stuff. They had Nico Collins on the roster, all this stuff. And they had an established culture. So CJ Stroud was a large.
Hold on. When you say that, are you sure they had an established culture? They have
so Nico Collins,
head coach, a rookie play caller, a young team. Is that really an established culture?
Yes, and here's why. When I mean culture, what I mean is this. When they picked up that dude as the head coach of the team,
DeMeco Ryan.
When they picked up DeMeco, there was a video out on social media where even the freaking cafeteria staff was excited that he was coming back.
Yeah,
everybody remembered him. That building was his building. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So what I mean by, so he knows what it meant to be a Texan. So when he sit down with everyone and says, this is how we do things here in Houston. And that's what I mean. He was reestablishing whatever the Texans culture happened to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not a hard leap. And he got to pick his own staff. He's like, look, this is what I need you to do because this is how we do business here.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any of that. We came in here with this all-star, world-class wrecking crew, and we didn't have any culture. I mean, we had our culture scooped out from us from the old boy in the beginning. What's the guy named? The first coach that where we hired.
Frank Wright.
Not Frank Wright, the guy before Frank Wright.
Matt Rule.
So we had Matt Rule come in here and try to keep pounding away. He got rid of our all-time franchise quarterback because he was too much of a big personality for him. Luke Kuechly retired at the same time. It was bad.
Yeah.
Frank Wright.
I understand what you're saying about, DeMeco Ryan bringing in the culture, but CJ Stroud stepped into that organization with some confidence, and he talked winning and he walked winning from day one. And
year one was great. Year 2 and 3, not so much.
He stepped out there and played ball. And you mentioned like Bryce's weapons his rookie year, Adam Thielen and DJ Chark and these guys. It really didn't even matter with Stroud. Like he went into the playoffs. He was in a playoff situation with like 3 or 4 of his top targets were down. He still went out there and had like a 300-something yard game and won the game with his best targets off the field. It didn't matter. And
I'm not debating Stroud's meteoric rise. Not debating that at all. I'm just saying is that we thought what we had was fool's gold.
Now, see what I'm saying is when I bring up Stroud still going out there and performing regardless of who his weapons were out there, I'm saying like that's kind of my point in the beginning of the process when I looked at Stroud and him being in a situation in high school where he elevated it, and Bryce Young was in a situation where it's always been a winning program, and we never seen him in a situation where he had to elevate it. And I question if he could do that. I feel like that's kind of what I saw. I got a taste of his rookie year. I'm like, so if he's in
that was kind of validation for you.
No, I'm not gonna say it's a validation, but I got just like I said, just a taste of what it is. But at the same time, like I'm realistic. I'm looking at the situation like we just talked about with Frank Wright and the culture not being right, and we just having the wrong mix of coaches in here. It just wasn't right his rookie year, so it was just all bad. He didn't really have much of a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So got you. So for me, the rookie year is a wash. Like I will hold it against him.
Okay.
Like I said, like I had my concerns. I didn't see much fight. I didn't see many flashes. And like you said, all that stuff you mentioned about what he had to overcome, or seeing CJ Stroud have so much success, and how that had to be tough for him to go through that. And
Right.
you bring up a good point. You know what I'm saying? That can really mess up his mental. He's never been through that. He's never done anything but win. So
Right.
none of us knew how Bryce Young would be able to handle losing. Like nobody knew that.
Right.
But
I agree.
going into, after rookie season, going into year two, like I said, I had very little confidence. I was very, very concerned. But I wasn't one of these guys who wanted him out the building because I'm all about the development process. I like seeing a player go through that. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy it. I'm a skills trainer. You know what I'm saying? On the basketball court, I train kids, so I enjoy the development and growth process. Like, and I have the patience for it. I understand
Right.
the process. So I wanted to see Bryce Young go through his struggle. This is what he needs. Sometimes, like he's never been through real struggle. When it comes to football, he's always been on easy street. No,
Not
I'm not gonna
necessarily
say.
easy
I'm
street,
not
but
gonna
he's
say. I'm
always
not
been
gonna
on a
say.
winning program.
Yeah, like it's never. Isn't it like the odds have never been this stacked against him? Like we've never seen him in this situation before.
Right.
And like I feel like he needed to go through that. Sometimes you have to go through that struggle just to sharpen your knife to get where you need to go. Like you got to go through some struggle at some point. It's just gonna make you better. Like it's part of the growth process. Like you got to feel that. I was like, cool. The rookie year, boom. He went through his struggles. Let's see how he come out. So let's talk about that. He stepped into his rookie year. We know the story. He got benched after those first two games. Came back from the benching and was a much better quarterback. So let's talk about that. Like what do you think? What do you think clicked with Bryce Young? Like even from like year two to right now, like what do you think has really clicked? Where has he shown the most growth?
Um, I think in year two, when he got benched, I think it was shocking to him.
Yeah.
I think it shocked him. One. So let me back up a little bit. Bryce Young did not because of year one and because of all of this stuff going on and everything, and then he comes into year two. He's not even the vocal leader. He's not even acting as if it's his locker room. You follow what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I got you.
And then he gets benched. And I think that was shocking to him, eye-opening and illuminating.
Yeah.
What I will say is, post-benching, a couple of things, I want to point out a couple of things that people have said. So there were several Panther insider reporters that stated that they were told confidentially that Bryce Young will start again this season. Period. No one would commit to win, but they knew that he would. But they wasn't going to say that out loud. It was confidentially told that as reporters. Also, after the benching and his success and a little bit of success, the success he had in his second year, Dan Morgan said he pulled him into the office and said, "You're still the guy. You have to be able to take this in stride and develop from it." So think about it from Bryce Young's perspective. The coach has sat him down and said, "You need to get right." The general manager saying, "You still gonna get a chance to play," but he's never been in that position before. And I think he handled it like a damn professional. He didn't cry. He didn't whine. He didn't complain. He supported his teammates through the process, even if they had success or didn't have success. I think that showed the organization what kind of player they had and the resiliency of that player during the portion that he was benched.
I agree with that. I feel like he could have easily it could have went down, it could have went bad, man. Like That moment when he got benched and when he got a chance to play again, like when you and when we hear questions get asked, like is Bryce Young on a hot seat? That was his moment on the hot seat right there.
Correct.
If he when he got back on that field after Andy Dalton got in that wreck and they gave him a chance to play again, to start again, if he didn't go out there and perform well and finish the season like he started it, he might not be in a Panther uniform right now, if we be honest.
I think you're right. He had to show something. I mean, it was to the point where Canales gave him a week-to-week assessment. He's never been through that. You are a week-to-week quarterback right now, Bryce. You have to show me every week starting on Monday that you can start next Sunday. And I think that credit to Dave Canales, him doing that probably saved Bryce's career.
You're right. That's why I don't accept too much Dave Canales slander when it come to, I hear guys make these excuses for Bryce and they like to point to Dave. Like Dave is holding him back. I'm like, nah, man, Dave
ain't no. Why would somebody even say that?
Dave has helped him. I'm not saying Dave is perfect or anything, and he's the perfect, this perfect coach or anything, but when it comes to Bryce Young and his development, like he has helped him way more than he's hurt him.
There's a lot of hot take Harrys out there.
Yeah.
They just gonna spew anything that they think makes sense in the moment that they said it. And then they'll yell and debate it and argue about it the entire time.
What you mean?
So, just a little bit of why I'm so passionate about Bryce Young, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
When we drafted Bryce Young, the amount of things that was said from our organization perspective, from our fan base perspective, was disgusting, dog. You cannot get on Twitter and YouTube streets and talk about a man's father and mother and then turn around and make. Well, I would say it like this. All things equal. If you can say this to a person's face, if that person had the same ability to treat you like you were somebody on the street and they were somebody on the street, would you still do it? Now, if you would say, I'll say it to Bryce Young face, you know full well, if he turn around and mollywop you and get into a fight, he loses. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. What was said about his parents?
Oh my gosh, dog. They would say things like, Craig, who Craig think he is? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, the things that they said about this man, it not borderline, it was personal attacks. And because they didn't get what they wanted. You follow? I cannot stand that shit. They do it for clicks and likes and views on their podcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Yeah, but it's unfortunately it's part of the game. You know what I'm saying?
But here's what I would tell you.
You talk about CJ Stroud, look at what people were saying about, his situation with his father, you know what I'm saying? Like, his dad's locked up, people were saying a lot of shit about his parents and his family, his living situation. So
let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about struggles of someone's interpersonal life. Dude, hand on my heart. Man, I'm 53 years old. I still don't want you talking shit about my father. And you know full well, because I'm not a public figure, I'm not in the public eye, right? You're not going to walk up to me at the Kroger and talk to me about my father without me accosting you, me getting at you. But Bryce Young can't do that, so you a coward by saying the things you say. And I will say this. You remember when, and this goes to our fan base and why I'm so passionate about certain things. When we drafted Teteroy McMillan, and they said that no one wants his mother doesn't want him to be called Tet. You call him T-Mac or Tetaroa. And there were podcasters that went on that same night and the next day says, I'll call him whatever the F I want. Why? I'll call him whatever the F I want. I'll call because they was mad that we drafted a wide receiver instead of a defensive player because they were investing in Bryce Young.
You want me to call you Tet? You want me to call you Tet? You gotta go out there and earn that. Until then, I'll call you T-Mac. I heard that.
No. They said no. They said no. I will call you Tet. And he was saying that my mother doesn't like it because she named me Tetaroa, and she doesn't like my name being shortened.
Yeah, he don't like Tet. Yeah.
No, it's about his mother. His mother doesn't want him to be called Tet.
Right.
So why you couldn't just be anybody? Couldn't just be a stand-up guy and says, this is what the man would like to be called by his name. Why you gotta be disrespectful to that? Those are the type of people that castigate Bryce Young's. Bryce Young can win a damn Super Bowl, and those people will still castigate Bryce Young. And that's why I'm so passionate about the whole Bryce Young versus non-Bryce Young conversation, because of those types of people.
Yeah. Okay, Will. That explained everything, Will. And I wanted you to get that out right there because me and you, we've debated so many times, and you always bring that up, you know what I'm saying, about people talking about his parents and that deep level, you know what I'm saying? That's a deeper level of hatred right there as far as you just like not being a fan of his game or whatever. That's a deeper level of hatred. So whenever me and you be talking, you bring that up, I'm like, hold on, dog. I'm not one of the fans. Like, don't come at me.
But I just wanted, I want people to know why I get so ticked off.
Yeah, I understand. I get it. I get it, man. But like for me, like I said, I look at it as it's part of the game. Like all the players go through it, man. Even the greatest who played the game, you know, catch hell. You know, LeBron James up here on my wall, right over my head. He catch hell. Kobe, he still catch hell. Jordan, he catch hell. You know what I'm saying? Like they all go through it. It's part of the game. I don't get caught up in all that, man. I just keep it. It's all about what I see on the field, dog.
Yeah, and so I
keep it football.
Yep, I try to keep it football, and I try to build. You know, what is it means to be a fan of this team?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would hope that we as a fan base can develop what our fan base and our culture of our fan base happens to be.
Feel that. But when it come to Bryce and him getting benched to coming in year 3 and him rising to the level that he is now, like where would you rank him right now? You know, amongst in the league, like what tier would you put him in? Like,
so I would put him in the tier 2 class, and the reason why I paused because I want to be able to eloquently defend the position of why I put him in the tier 2 class.
And he's trending up too. I want to say that. Make sure I say that. Bryce Young is trending up. I said it many, many times. What I saw in the playoffs is what I've been asking for. We can get into that.
At the playoffs, I was super excited, man.
Yeah,
I was super excited.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. That's the type of shit I want to see from our quarterback.
Yeah.
But go ahead, my bad.
Yeah. So the reason why I place him in a tier 2 class, I believe that he have all of the tools necessary. I believe that a third year in this offense, and like he stated on one of the podcasts that he was on at the Super Bowl Media Row, he has to be able to make the offense more his. So that goes to tell me that he's now moving into a different level of QB play. He's seeing the field better. He's being able to process better. And then you have levels of inconsistency that I think will go away. So I want to talk a little bit about the Seattle game. I think he had like 50-something yards or something like that, the Seattle game.
54 yards.
Okay, 54 yards. So I was at the stadium, so I didn't get to really, tell, but then I went back and watched the game. Everyone was being covered, and that defense was not giving him time to throw the ball. Now, if he had thrown the ball and threw several interceptions, then that would have been a problem. But I think that he didn't take enough risk in that game. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
So most people forget. Did you know we was a one possession game in the fourth quarter with him throwing only having 50-something yards?
Yeah, we were. We were still in that game.
A one possession game. So the score does not dictate the 54 yards. And then you got the hot take Louis, especially them dudes out of Raleigh, North Carolina, the hot take Louis that get on there and say 54 yards, he's not the right answer. Shut up. So every time a quarterback has a bad game, you cannot make it an indictment on his entire career.
Well, you're right about that. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this. That 54-yard game, it exposed a hole in Bryce's game that he has struggled with his entire career. And that's against one-on-one man-to-man coverage. Against blitzes, he struggles there.
Wait a minute, he's been known as the blitz beater. They didn't blitz him.
Well, but
Seattle did not blitz him.
They played a lot of one-on-one coverage.
They played a lot of man and double up seams because they did not blitz Bryce Young in that game. They got tremendous amount of pressure on our O-line. And Bryce Young did all of the safe route stuff. I'm sorry, say again?
They stacked that box, right?
They stacked the box on rundowns, obvious rundowns, and they rushed 4 and was getting home with 4.
That game, and I try to when I talk to people about this, this situation with Seattle, that was a playoff game. Hold on, my little nephew running in the room. Hold on. My bad. But yeah, that Seattle game, man, like basically, and it's the reason they won the Super Bowl. Like they basically picked us apart. They picked Bryce apart. Like where we struggled at all season, they basically undressed us because that's what teams do to you in the playoffs. Like
so let me ask you a question. When you mean they pick Bryce apart, what do you mean by that?
So all season, what have teams done to us? They stacked the box because they know first and second down, like you said, obvious rundowns. For us, it was very obvious. It was damn near, I don't know what percentage of the time we were running the ball on first and second down almost every time, like all season. It was so predictable. And teams stacked the box, made it hard for us to really get our run game off. I don't know if people understand that when teams stack the box, it makes it harder for you to run the football. But when teams stack the box, you have one-on-ones on the outside, and most quarterbacks, lick their chops for those one-on-one situations and thrive in those situations. With Bryce Young, for some reason, he wasn't being aggressive with the football, and teams see that and teams know that, so that's why they play us so aggressively at the line of scrimmage like that, because they don't think that Bryce Young is going to hurt them over the top.
That's not true. And here's why I say that.
Mhm.
So I picked the Seattle game because I think that he played too conservative, not that he couldn't do it.
Well, that's the thing. He played too conservative most of the season. That's why
No.
teams played like that.
I'm about to point out two other games that he didn't play conservative. I'm gonna point out 3 games he didn't play. He didn't.
Well,
They did the exact same.
I'm not saying he played conservative overall, but that's his MO. Like that's
No,
what
it's
teams.
not.
That's how teams. But that's how teams defend us.
Okay, so
well,
the Atlanta Falcons had the #1 pass defense in the league, right? We hung 448 yards on the air against them.
We did.
They played the same style of defense as Seattle. They sent 4 and wrap coverage.
Atlanta
Right? Played man up, and Bryce Young whipped them up and
Atlanta
down
game
the
are you
field.
talking about? You talking about the first Atlanta game, or you talking about the 448 game?
The second one in
That's
Atlanta.
the 448.
Yeah, the 448.
Okay, Atlanta played a lot of zone
the
coverage.
same thing happened in the Miami game. They stacked the box, played press man coverage, and he threw for tutties on him. He threw up and down the field on him. Now, let's talk about the game, another game that we lost. When we went to Arizona, we lost that game to Arizona. That second half of that game, he aired the ball out. What I'm saying is we cannot wait until we're in a position to force you to air the ball out. You need to be able to do that consistently if they give you those options. So Bryce Young has been known as the blitz beater and the man coverage beater. That's something that his actual skill sets are known for, and he's displayed that.
Man coverage beater?
I'm sorry, say again?
You said a man coverage beater?
Yes.
No, Bryce Young. No, yes. Bryce Young hasn't been good against man-to-man coverage. He's been good against zone.
Somebody sent a blitz on Bryce Young, and they're running man on him. I'll have to look at the advanced statistics. I'm looking at from the eye test. Man-to-man coverage, 4-2.
You can check the advanced statistics. He's not good against man-to-man. He's good against zone.
So where is that at in the statistics? So I can look that up, because I haven't seen that.
What do you mean? Just Google it. Just ask Google if Bryce Young is.
No, I'm not asking. I wouldn't ask Google. I'm just saying I'll go to PFF and look up his zone versus man statistics and see if they give me something. Because, okay, so the zone coverage did the first LA Rams game, did they play us zone or man?
Well, the first one, when he got the TDs, when he got those TDs, it was on 4th down. They had the box stack. It was 1-on-1 on the outside, and Bryce Young
in other words, it was man.
Hold on, let me finish this. Yeah, it was man, and Bryce Young did something that nobody thought he would do. It's like he beat him over the top. That's something that teams dare him to do. They dared him to do it that game. He did it. He was aggressive. He executed. He put the ball where it needed to be, and he beat him over the top.
But he did it in the Arizona game. He did it in the Atlanta game.
Yes, he had his spots where he did do it. But what I'm saying is, and this is really my overall point about, when we talk about trying to. When I talk about Bryce Young taking another step, even though he's gotten better, we talk about him taking another step. Like you said, he's tier 2. Like, I want him tier 1. So we talk about.
I believe he will be. I believe that he's proven to be tier 2. I believe this season right here, he will show you that he's a tier 1 quarterback.
Yeah. So when we talk about, because now we're getting into the creases and crevices of his game. When we talk about if he's good against man coverage or zone coverage, this, that, and the third. But when we simply watch how teams defend us overall, for the most part, all season, they loaded the box against and tried to stop our run game. They wasn't
Yeah.
going out there playing to stop our passing game. They was going they
No,
were
that's
playing
not
to
true.
stop our run.
I
It
don't
is.
think that that's the case.
It is. And if you look at our play calling, Dave Canales
Hmm.
didn't want to pass the ball for whatever reason on first and second down. We were predictable running the ball every single time, making it,
So did
make
you hear?
our offense very
Did you
exciting.
see Bryce Young? Did you see Bryce Young when people were talking about Bryce Young and they was reading his lips at the Tampa game, the last Tampa game we played?
Uh,
And they said you heard you could read his lips. He was talking to Andy Dalton on the sideline. He's like, I don't know why we're running these plays.
no, I didn't see that.
Right. So I believe when you're talking about some of the predictability in our offense, I think that Dave Canales did some self-scouting, and he probably recognizes that he's not going to be able to call plays and be the head coach on the field and do both jobs in game. And that's the reason why I think he gave up the sticks.
So you don't
I
think
believe that there will be more innovation in the plays. So, I'm going to pick on the Tampa game. When they was that bad call with the backwards pass and all of that, and they said the ball went out of bounds, it was just 4 or 5 different ways of being wrong.
Well, we didn't play Tampa to what, the back end of the season, right?
Yeah, the last game of the season, week 18.
Well, let's rewind to the beginning of the season, because
All right.
When we talk about Canales and his play calling, we got to start from the beginning, because we got to remember what we saw. Like Bryce Young, he started the season off first couple games. It was kind of rough. It was shaky with the turnovers. He wasn't being aggressive with the football, and we saw Dave Canales kind of lean on the run game more. He started to give it to feed Rico more, and that's when Rico had his big game. So that became the recipe for us. It became running the football, defense, playing big but don't break defense. First, forced a lot of field goals. That became the makeup, our recipe for winning. And
No, I don't believe so.
That's what kind of happened, and then it kind of grew into Bryce Young. He stopped turning the ball over. He wasn't having these big games. But he wasn't turning the ball over. He was making big plays in big moments when we needed him to make them. And he kind of grew, gradually grew as the season went on. And from the way I see it, the playbook and Canales' play calling got more. It got better as Bryce Young got, like you said earlier, he got more command, beginning to process faster. Like he got more confident in his job. You know what I'm saying? Like he was owning the position. Like the offense was his. And like leading into the playoffs, like we saw the playbook opened up. I feel like we saw a different Bryce Young. So I feel like I can't say that Dave Canales couldn't handle being the head coach and the play caller at the same time. I feel like a lot of it had to do with Bryce Young. Bryce Young started off struggling, and as he grew, Canales was right there growing with him. Like it was a perfect situation, basically. You know what I'm saying? A lot of coaches, it wouldn't have worked out like that. Canales had some patience. And the way he called plays, I believe he called plays the way he did to protect Bryce Young. He didn't want to drop back and throw the ball on first and second downs, and there'd be a risk of it not going well, and now we're faced with third and longs where Bryce Young and our offense struggled, or on third downs in general, we struggled converting on third downs. Like he wanted to be third and short and fourth and short, where Bryce Young can eat in those situations, and he did in those fourth and shorts.
So I don't I see it in a different perspective.
Okay. And that's what it's about over here,
Right.
hearing each other's different perspectives, you know what I'm saying? I like that. Like I said, I'm
All
here
right.
to learn. I'm here to learn, you know what I'm saying?
Well, no, it's not really a learned thing. I just
Yeah.
see it differently, right?
Yeah.
Everything you're saying is, factually, like linearly what happened. I think that they happen for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
A quarterback's best friend is a running game and a tight end. Any quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody will tell you that. That's just how it is. That's a fact. Over the first couple of weeks of our season, our running game wasn't as successful, and our tight end play wasn't as successful. Our offense was stuck in neutral from a running perspective, a passing perspective, getting plays called in accurately and on time, all of the mechanics of everything. There was a lot of challenges there. However, when they settled the offense down and gave it an appetite suppressant and said, we're going to have to establish the run. And then we realized that Chuba Hubbard was playing injured, and they gave the ball to Donald, and Donald started pressing the hole and started having success in the running game. And having success in the running game sets up the passing attack. What really now, and I think that I forgot who said this. I think it was Brian Baldinger that said this. The easiest thing for a quarterback to do is to take the ball from center, hand it to a running back, and get 4 yards. If he can do that, you're going to do that the whole game. You're going to have to prove to me that you couldn't stop it. Case in point, the Dallas game. Dallas proved that they could not stop Rico Dowdle. So why would you pass the ball? Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So then that allowed us to get a team like the Falcons that figure if we stack the box, Bryce and Tedero McMillan and Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker can't beat us on the outside, and they were wrong. So did several other teams. So I see it from a growth and a maturation of the offense. Then Chuba Hubbard came back too soon, I think, because he still was sputtering, and then he kind of gained momentum the last 4 or 5 games of the season. I think Chuba Hubbard came back a little bit too soon. I think he might have been worried about, losing his position on the team. You know what I mean?
But let me ask you this, man.
Uh-huh.
Because you're not wrong about anything you're saying. Like, I understand, like, there's other parts of the team that's not perfect. Like, Bryce Young isn't the only person or only aspect of the team that has a flaw. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a flaw hole in everybody's game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I completely get that. But when you mention the running game and any struggles we had in the running game or the passing game and the struggles that we had in the passing game, like when you look at Bryce Young, do you feel like that he contributes to any of the struggles that we have in the running game or the passing game? Because
I think you can attribute some of the lackluster passing capabilities in some aspects.
Yeah, like I feel like this is important right here because I feel like this conversation right here doesn't get had when we really like. I don't see why we can't key in on Bryce like that and just really talk about his game, whether it's a flaw or anything that's you think is amazing about his game. Like why can't we get into it and talk about it? So like yeah, I want to hear this right here from you.
Right. So I think that when you look at Bryce Young's, and I'm talking about year 3, right?
Yeah.
There's been opportunities that he won't take that option.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the reason why. And I think that sometimes he might have left some yards on the field.
What you mean, like an opportunity for a shot down the field, or
not even? It's not. It don't even have to be a shot down the field, right?
Mhm.
It could be somebody going across the middle, but he threw it into the flats.
Yeah, just he could have made a bit of a bigger play, but he
could have made a bit of a bigger play or whatever the case may be. I have seen some of that. I don't know why that is, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that is where coaching and player and playbook come together to figure out where some of the challenges happen to be.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that
why
because
did you go to this guy when look at this guy right here? And you've seen him look at the tablet and throw the tablet down like, damn.
Yeah, and see, and this is my thing with, and I hate to mention this, but when we mentioned earlier in the show about his height and him not being able to see from the pocket, like, and I didn't mention this, he struggles. Like, he's not good. Not only is he not good against man to man, he's not good from a clean pocket. So I question, like, I do question.
Okay, where you getting that stat from?
I'm not just bringing it up out my ass, Will.
That's what I'm asking. I'm asking so that I can go back. I'm not here to say, oh, you're 100% wrong. I'm like, where did that come from?
I just looked it up. I just go off what I see. So I looked it up.
Said Bryce Young is.
Yeah, Bryce Young is not good from a clean pocket, and I question that. Like why? Like, why is that? Can he not see?
I have to look that up. I've seen him call people up in a clean pocket.
He'll scramble out of clean pockets at times. Now he has gotten better from the pocket, especially when it comes to like climbing the pocket and stuff. I've seen him get better doing that stuff. But at times, like you said, you see there's opportunities and you wonder why he's not taking them, and he'll look at the tablet and throw the tablet down. He was like, his frustration is like what's going on from the pocket,
I don't think that it was a pocket thing. I don't subscribe to it's a pocket thing.
Yeah, well, like what is it like?
I just like I said, I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know about the options or whatever the case may be. Didn't let something develop. I don't know, and I know that I've seen personally where Bryce Young take a direct face shot in the pocket, stare the receiver down, dot. So whether it's a clean pocket or I have not seen that at all. Bryce Young in a clean pocket, is inefficient. I haven't seen that. The way the offense is set up, the pocket, they have a moving pocket the way they block.
Yeah.
They rotate the pocket. And and a lot of offenses do that. They rotate the pocket based off of the windows they want the quarterback to throw from. That is not a compensation for a quarterback. That is a style of offense.
Well, yeah, I know for me, for a while, it's been an issue with me for him, checking it down as much as he does, as we see him do, and not being aggressive. And when I say aggressive, I don't want him throwing 50-yard bombs every series. That's not what I'm saying. But like you said, like you'll see him have a shot, a target over the middle that's open, but he'll settle for, an out route.
Right. And so I don't know what that is. Yeah, maybe some of that gets addressed in this offseason and in training camp.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna pretend I know what it is either, but I'm gonna question it. I want to find out what it is and figure out how he can get better at it. So he can let's keep stepping up, man. Let's tier one.
So can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Why people who have a problem with Bryce, when PFF dropped that statistic, said Bryce Young was the #1 big time thrower in the NFL. Why was that so triggering to them?
Well, I can't speak for everybody, but for me,
no, I'm just saying, just in general. I know.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna just speak for me. So when you bring up and when they say big time throws, like My first thing is like that's some new shit for me. Like what is that? Like define that. Like what do they mean by big time throws? Like, I don't even know what that means, to be honest.
I think a big time throw is 20 or more air yards. That's PFF, that's their statistic when they say big time throw, right? I
Like I
think
think
something like that, right? And he was the number one. And people says, oh, let's look at the averages. This guy threw
yeah.
for more, but hit more, but his
So,
average wasn't less. It was like they couldn't
yeah.
just
So
allow, they couldn't allow our quarterback and our fan base to be able to say, this is a nice thing that is a nice
really,
statistic about our quarterback.
for me,
I mean,
I've
they
seen it.
they had
You good?
like hours and hour-long debates
Yeah,
of
I know.
why that's false when it
I
was
know.
literally in the statistics.
No, see, here's the thing. For me, here's the thing, right? It's cool, like great. Like would you say he was number one?
He said they said he was number one in big time throws.
Big time throws and throws over 20 yards.
I think their statistic is 20
Okay, cool.
air yards.
So for most people, or people who question it, I think their number one question was, well, Bryce Young didn't complete or attempt as many of those passes as the other quarterbacks, hence why the percentage is lower. And it's just 20 yards. The other quarterbacks could be throwing 40, 45, 50-yard passes
That
than
doesn't
Bryce. Bryce
happen
is
though.
throwing more 20, 25-yard passes. So it's for me, it's a very vague stat. Like, let's like show us the throws that y'all talking about. You know what I'm saying?
So,
Like, it's a very
let's put.
vague stat, and it's cool that he number one at it, but it's still, for me, it's like we still have a struggling passing game, so it it don't add up
So,
to a whole lot.
but the quarterback is not the only reason for a struggling passing game.
You're right. You're right.
So let's quantify this for a second. There are very few passing plays in the NFL that are 20 yards or more downfield. Very few.
Mm-hmm.
Very few. There's not enough time to develop. Defensive lines are too good to let you sit back there for 9 minutes. And I'm being sarcastic, but 9 minutes for someone to throw a ball 50 yards downfield. The play doesn't develop like that. Those things don't happen in the league. So when we say, then that's the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. Why was that such a problem for people you can, just like I can say Bryce Young needs to work on X, Y, or Z. Why couldn't those people just say, I didn't know that? Because it doesn't fit their narrative.
Because for
I'm
me,
just telling you, that's what it is.
because for me, that one stat, it doesn't amount to a whole lot for me. Because like I said, we still have a struggling passing game. And Bryce Young, when you talk about throws over 20 yards, but when you look at the real, he's at the bottom of the league in terms of starting quarterbacks and yards per attempt.
Okay.
That's a major deal. I don't know if people
And
realize.
so a stat of yards per attempt.
That or not. Hold on, because I want to say this. When I bring that up, people act like I'm hating or nitpicking. But when you have a quarterback who ranks that low in YPA in yards per attempt, like, that's not winning football. That's not sustainable winning football. Like, historically, teams don't win like that. That's not a good recipe for winning.
Okay.
It's just not.
I can subscribe to that. What I also would say is this. Let me back up. I believe that a 3,400-yard season is a successful quarterback season in my eyes. Between 33 and 3,500 yards. That's just my personal benchmark for the NFL. That means that you're in that echelon. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, you would expect your quarterback to get those numbers. Yeah.
Well, if you have a franchise quarterback,
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Let's talk about this season right here that we're talking about, year 3. As Bryce Young started the campaign, the Carolina Panthers started the campaign. Let's look at the pass catchers that he had week 1. Let me back up. In training camp, you had Teteroy McMillan, Jalen Coker, what's the guy from Minnesota? Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, and Jimmy Horn Jr. Those were kind of the 5. And more. 6. Those were the 6. What we thought the starting roster would be would be Teteroy McMillan, Thielen, and XL. And Coker being able to come in and back up Thielen, get some burn when you pull Thielen out. What ended up happening week 1? We had Teteroy McMillan, Xavier Legette, and Moore as the wide receivers. They trade away Thielen. Jalen Coker was injured. The entire pass catching group was completely different from the entirety of the training camp. But no one, I don't understand why we did what we did. I would have never traded Thielen. You were going to have to stay here on this roster.
You saying like that threw Bryce off? Like
that threw the entire offense off.
Think so?
So it's not about Bryce. It's about, okay, what set of plays have we been working on in the slot? It was either Thielen in the slot and Coker in the slot. You had none of them. You had a rookie, week 1. This is his first NFL game at the X position. And you had XL, who is a developmental player at the Y position. And I believe it threw the entire playbook in disarray by them making those trades and Coker being injured. By them trading Thielen and Coker being injured, those two things happening dang near simultaneously, I believe, caused portions of the offense to sputter.
Okay, I hear you when you say that, but I go back to what I said in the beginning. When you have a guy, do you have a guy who can elevate? So, like, I'm gonna ask you this question: like, why can't Bryce Young, if that happens, why can't our quarterback be the type of quarterback who can be the calming force?
What do you mean by elevate?
Like, I'm not saying when I say elevate, I mean he's the common denominator. He's the driving force, or at the very least the calming force. That's gonna keep us consistent, keep our offense consistent, and keep us. We're still churning regardless of what weapon is in or out or down, or how the rotation is flipped up. We see franchise quarterbacks that are able to do that.
All right. I'm gonna walk you into this.
They can still give you offense. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of.
I'm gonna walk you into this one. Is CJ Stroud a franchise quarterback?
Hell yeah, I think so.
Then why the heck did he get his clock? What about that last game he played? Where was the elevation?
Well, I mean,
no. I'm walking you into this.
I mean, it wasn't there in that game, Will.
No, it wasn't there. How about the game before that?
I'm not even sure. I can't even recall.
He had 5 turnovers in that game. What about the game before that?
Okay.
He had 130-something yards.
But overall, his career, you look at his career.
No. And I'm glad we're having this conversation, because I wanted to make sure that I drive this point home about CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. Okay. CJ Stroud has not achieved anything close to his rookie campaign in year 2 and year 3. He has regressed tremendously.
Wow. Well, Will,
hear me, and I'm a CJ Stroud guy. So you cannot say, if you look at his stats and his play, that CJ Stroud has regressed in year 2 and year 3.
You can say he's regressed. If you look at his stats, yes, cool, you can say he's a regress. But if you look at how he started, he had a historically great rookie season. He
That
damn
don't
near
mean
won.
anything.
He damn
I'm
near had
not
an
talking
MVP
about
season.
comparing his
So
rookie season to
listen,
year
hold
1 and
on,
year 2
hold
and
on,
year
Will,
3.
no, listen, because you say he regressed. So his rookie year, he damn near had an MVP season and led a 2-win team to the playoffs.
He did that. He didn't do that by himself.
No, listen, he didn't do it by himself. Nobody does anything by themselves, win or lose. It's an ultimate team sport. But
Right.
he went into it. It was a 2-win team. Nobody expected him to have that type of season and the Texans go to the playoffs. Nobody. DeMeco Ryans, okay, cool. He had a great career with the Texans, good coordinator with the 49ers. He was still a rookie head coach. CJ Stroud had a rookie play caller, as a offensive coordinator. Didn't have a good O-line, didn't have any notable weapons, that he walked into the season with
You still over here caping for him.
No,
I'm
I'm not
talking
capable for
about
him. No, I'm not capable
specifically.
for him. No, listen. No, I'm not capable for him. But he had a historically great rookie year. So it wasn't, it's not easy to climb up from that. Like it's
No,
easy
that's not what I'm saying.
it's
He
easy to
did a
fall from that. You know what I'm saying?
no,
Like
no. He had considerable amounts of turnovers. He started getting sacked. He started
he
with,
doesn't
and
have
when
a
I
good
say
O-line.
regressing,
He doesn't have a good O-line, bro.
I'm sorry, say again.
CJ Stroud doesn't have a good O-line.
I'm not trying to put a cape on it. I'm not trying to put a cape on anyone. What I am saying is this. You said, why can't our quarterback elevate? And I bring up the CJ Stroud conversation. And I brought up the CJ Stroud conversation because I don't want to hear nothing about he didn't have an O-line and this, that, and the third. He's supposed to elevate. That's the reason why I'm saying that people apply a standard to Bryce Young that they don't apply to anybody or anything else.
Nah,
And I went straight to the Stroud because then you can go Stroud, Young, year 1, year 2, year 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now it kind of looks like this. Bryce is going this way, and Stroud is going this way.
I don't see Stroud
whether we
going
believe
that way.
it or not.
I think Stroud, like Bryce Young, had his bump in the road and hit his head and went through his struggles, and we saw him rise. He's risen above that. CJ Stroud is having his moment. Like we got to give him the same.
So we got to
give him the same chance to see how he might come out next season and have a damn near MVP season.
But what you said was, why can't our quarterback elevate?
Yeah.
When I go directly to, well, I can pick to a specific quarterback that he's compared to.
Mm-hmm.
He never elevated his team when it was time for him to elevate that team.
CJ Stroud has elevated that team.
No, why? It was. Did you watch? I mean, I'm not saying to be funny, but did you watch that game? Those 2 Texan games in the playoffs?
No, I didn't. I watched the.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a statistic that will blow your mind. CJ Stroud played so bad that if he would have just took a knee first, second, and third down and punted on every possession, their defense was so good that they actually would have won the game. That's how bad CJ Stroud actually played in that game.
But you can point out his worst game, and that doesn't.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about the elevation. I'm talking about the elevation. When you say, well, why can't our quarterback elevate? But what I'm saying is, you got to apply that same standard to everyone else. And I don't think that's being fairly, being fair, that mayonnaise is not being equally spread across the bread.
But Will, CJ Stroud, his rookie year.
I don't care about the rookie year. I'm talking about year 3.
But you said he never. We've seen him elevate. We've seen him in a playoff situation.
No, we didn't. We saw him go into a situation.
His rookie year as a rookie, we saw him he has this in him. Like it's on his resume, Will.
But
In a
no, what
playoff
I
situation, he went in a playoff situation with 3 of his top 4 targets down and still went out there and performed, Will. Like it
no, but
wasn't no
what I'm saying is everybody talk about his rookie campaign. So if CJ Stroud, let me make sure I get this straight.
no, I'm just
If
saying,
CJ Stroud
I'm
is
just put like you
absolutely a
pointed out a
franchise
bad
quarterback,
game.
why does
No,
he have a contract?
Hold on, Will. You pointed out a bad game,
No,
in this
no,
recent
I'm
playoff
talking
game where he
about
didn't elevate his team, but I'm showing
no,
you where
no.
he did it as a rookie, and he's done it multiple times throughout his career. Like
Okay,
CJ Stroud
like I'm
does
trying to
elevate
explain to you,
an offense.
I'm using that one game. That's not the only game. I'm pointing out. I was talking about the last time we saw him.
So what does that mean?
So I
Just
will
because
say
the
this.
quarterback looked a certain
I
way the
will
last
say
time he
all of that
saw him
to say
doesn't
this.
mean
I say all of that to say this. When you say, I'm say two things. Bryce Young, when you say Bryce Young, needs to elevate the players around him.
yeah.
CJ Stroud proved that he can't do that either.
He
Not right
didn't
now.
think they couldn't do that.
Number one. Number
I
two.
don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Will.
Number two. The reason why the Houston Texans are so successful is because they got the number one defense in the league. It's not because of Stroud. And then number three, if Stroud was a franchise quarterback, then he would already have had his extension done. They haven't even communicated that they're going to pick up his 5th-year option. What happened is we are prisoners of that moment of the rookie campaign and all the pain we went through. We have not looked at year 2 of CJ Stroud or year 3 of CJ Stroud. And all I'm saying is we have to take things into context.
We can leave CJ Stroud alone because he's actually irrelevant when we talk about our quarterback.
No, but I was using them as an analogy when you say Bryce Young can't elevate anyone. And then I said, well, we don't apply that same, we got to apply that same standard across the board to everything.
I apply that same energy for any quarterback that claim to be a franchise quarterback.
Bryce Young elevated the players around him when we beat the Rams.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
How so?
He had 2 4th and short touchdowns.
So what about the beginning of the season when he didn't have
so let's pick the Atlanta game. So in the Atlanta game, the 30-0, he didn't have to do a lot. Our defense showed up, which was amazing. So I love to watch defense win football games. And then
why do we have a
26
ranked? So why do we have a 26 ranked passing game?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Why do we have a 26 ranked passing game?
There's a lot of reasons for that. And I started out with, think about our first 9 weeks of the season. Coca didn't play till week 9. We didn't have a clear number 2 until week 9 of the NFL season. Right? Am I missing something?
Say that again.
And on top of that, what's the dude Moore? What's the David Moore? The wide receiver that knows the system very well. He went down in week 1. So not only did you not have Adam Thielen, who was the Grizzly veteran, you had David Moore, who was known to know this offense extremely well that can get open. You had XL struggling and Teteroa McMillan until week 9. And Coca didn't really catch fire till week 12.
So when did Bryce Young start elevating?
So you asked me, why did we have a bottom ranked passing attack? I talked to you about a lot of reasons why there's a lot of contributing factors. If you want to just say it's the quarterback, then that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. You have to look at everything
I'm never going to say that it's just the quarterback. I'm never going to.
Well, if you said you're definitely not saying that, or is saying that?
No, I said I would never say that.
Okay,
that is just the quarterback.
Yeah,
but I'm never going to say. But I'll never say that the quarterback has nothing to do with it either.
Right, but what I'm saying is, so when you say why we had a bottom, I mean, hell, we had Teteroa McMillan, which was a rookie, no veterans, and XL, who was struggling for dang near the first 10 weeks of the season. And yet we sit up here and say, why was the passing game struggling? You can I don't care who you put in there. That was not a wide receiving core that was going to make you a middle tier or a top tier passing attack. And no quarterback. Hey, listen, if you tell me to pay my mortgage and you only got $1,000 and my mortgage is $1,100, I can't pay the mortgage.
So do you think Bryce Young contributed to the struggles of our passing game or any struggles to our offense whatsoever?
I believe that he contributed to it, but I also believe that there was a second, third, and fourth order effect of us making all of those changes prior to week 1. And then David Moore got his dang old rotator cuff, his elbow jacked up.
Let's simplify this, Will. Let's simplify it. Let's leave everything out of it. Like, let's just isolate Bryce. And you say that you do believe that there are some areas where he caused the offensive struggle. Like, I want you to just focus in on that, on Bryce, and just talk to me about
they're both symbiotic. Bryce Young not trusting the receivers that he got on the field because he didn't throw to them all off season. So your timing is off, the rhythm is off, the quarterback not. Some players probably not running this.
What do you mean he didn't throw to him all off season?
What I'm trying to explain to you, on a specific play, it was Teteroa McMillan, Jalen Coker, or Teteroa McMillan, Adam Thielen, and a few. So when you're saying the depth of perception and the target ratio and all this other stuff, an offense is an art, not a science. So there's a lot of ambiguity in there that a quarterback and receiver forming that chemistry on. You took damn near 50 to 70% of his chemistry away before week 1. Do you think that he was throwing the ball to what's the dude from Myrtle Beach?
Winfro.
Hunter Renfrow was getting the ball thrown to him by Andy Dalton, not Bryce Young. In training camp, he was running with the twos. That's what training camp is for.
Will, you said we're talking about Bryce, and you're talking about the receivers, them switching up the receiving core at the last second, and Coker going down. Like, I get that, but that's where talking about pointing the blame on others, on other things.
What I'm saying is, because those things happen, you got a quarterback maybe not willing to pull the trigger on a certain throw, maybe not willing to throw a pass this out route to this player. It could be 1,000 reasons why that happened, but you cannot deny that it was a lot of moving pieces that should not be moving. Hopefully that does not happen this season. We walk into the season with Teteroa McMillan, a healthy Coker, an Xavier Legette, and a David Moore. We walk into the season with the tools that we use all offseason. That is what makes an offense productive. So you saying that we was 29th or 27th passing offense and yard per attempt and all of that stuff? Hell, we only had one wide receiver the first 10 weeks of the season. Am I wrong?
So what does that matter? Like, the name on the back of the jersey. What does that have to do with, like, your yards per attempt?
You're not throwing the ball in certain situations. You're not trusting. You only have one receiver. There's a lot of you throwing the ball. It's easier for a defense to cover up just Teteroa. All they got to do is double Teteroa McMillan. That all of that plays into those
Well,
stats.
but when we watch this stuff, man, like
I watched it, yeah.
it's on film. You know, you see guys down the field, and Bryce, like you said earlier, Bryce Young just for some
You
reason you question why he doesn't
hey,
make the throw. Like how much
and that's
trust
few and
how
far
much trust
between.
do you need? Let me like how much trust does he need in a guy to hit him on a post route? You know, if it's there. Like,
So I'll
you'll
just say
never gain
this.
the trust. You never gain the trust if you don't throw the ball and at least make the attempts.
Hey, so the
And
first 9 weeks of the season, he wasn't throwing the ball to Hunter Renfrow. He wasn't throwing the ball to Hunter Renfrow. And so you gotta understand, like, for you to say Bryce Young, yard per attempt, yada yada yada, wherever we rank that as an offense, that there was a lot of contributing factors. And the contributing factor that I'm trying to point out is there was a lot of moving pieces.
let me ask you this:
how many centers we went through?
This a real question. Do you really think is Bryce Young not trusting his receivers, or is it a lack of trust, some lack of confidence in his own in himself, in his own arm talent, and the throws that he can make?
No, I don't think that's it at all. I truly believe that there's a timing of the offense. And when you take all the receivers out and put in new receivers, the timing changed. I worked on timing on this offense for 9 or 10 weeks, or however long training camp is, right? I worked on that for 10 weeks. And now you change the entire timing of the entire offense. The offensive line don't know how to get depth. We don't know if this is a 5-step drop or a 4-step drop. We haven't practiced this with these set of receivers. That is important.
So you don't think it could be him just being too careful with the football, being afraid of making mistakes like he was doing earlier in his career, just being gun shy? You don't think it's that?
That could be some of the contributing factors as well. That you can't say that can't be a contributing factor. But from my perspective, you have to look at the entire offense. All the changes that happened in week 1. Why the hell did we do that? I don't know.
I'm just looking at the full body of work, of his whole career. Like even at full strength, when he had, his best group of receivers out there, he still wasn't really aggressive with the football like that. He's still being very conservative, very careful with the football.
I don't think he was careful with the football going down the last 5 to 6 weeks of the season. Nah,
he definitely
from week 12 on.
Yeah, I will say to finish the season, he was definitely opening up more.
That's what I'm saying. What happened? What happened? What happened?
Gives me hope.
So what was the difference?
What was the difference? For me, like I asked you, could it have been his confidence? I think the confidence is growing. The game is slowing down for him. And the confidence is just growing. He's getting, like Canales mentioned it himself, like he's getting more command at the line of scrimmage. He's starting to see things, making adjustments, making reads. He's getting better.
Yeah. Okay.
He's getting better.
Well, you want me to tell you what I think it is? After week 12, Jalen Coker was in stride.
Mm-hmm.
By week 14, Jalen Coker was named basically not named number 2, but he was, basically getting number 2 reps. Then you go to a game against and I keep going to the LA Rams game because it's clearer in my mind.
Yeah.
Put Coker outside 1-on-1 on 4th down, beat him. Right? Because he was throwing to Coker all offseason. Coker was out with a hamstring, quad injury for 8 weeks. They activated him week 8. He didn't play till like week 10. by week 12, Coker was hitting his numbers.
I hear what you're saying
So-
about Coker, but for me, Will, I honestly I don't like to hear that because I'd rather it be because the things I said, because he's getting more command, more confidence because of that. Because if you say it's
But
because of
he
Coker,
already had the confidence. He needed somebody to throw the ball to.
that tells me that Coker is too much of a crutch. You know what I'm saying? Like
No,
I
that
want
does
him to
not mean
still.
that. No.
I want Bryce Young, our quarterback, and our offense to still be able to function if a Coker goes down.
Okay, so I'm gonna explain this
If a
again.
McMillan go down, like
They
I
took
want him to still be able
okay
to function.
in the number 2 wide receiver position. They took the starting number 2 and traded him. The second number 2 that was going to be the starter went down and did not show back up until week 10, I believe. You lack depth. To say that Coker is a crutch, no, you're starting to get the talent back on the field to run the offense effectively. It's not about anyone being a crutch. It's literally you have to have the weapons on the field.
What I'm saying is, I still would like to see him, regardless of who's on the field.
That doesn't work that way. It's not. That's not logical.
Spread the ball around, throw the football, man.
Here's what I'll tell you. It's not logical. Just because you're a special quarterback doesn't mean that someone else can get open. You got to beat your man.
But Will, like I said,
I can't throw the ball to you.
It's not like our guys
open.
wasn't getting separation. Like they was just strapped up. Like we've seen like on the all-22 on the films. Even watching the game, you can see where he's got guys open. You can hear the commentators.
Rare. But see, you
hear
keep
the commentators talk about it.
I believe that is the exception, not the rule. You're pointing out the exception, not the rule.
What you mean?
It's an exception that there is a receiver open that he didn't hit. It's not the rule. The rule would be he does that routinely, and that is not true.
It is true, though.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not.
He's at the bottom.
If that was the case, he would be on the bench.
Yardage per attempt.
If that, nope, I don't. Yards per attempt, I've already told you why I think that's why it is. He didn't have any receivers on the field till week 10. So, what I'm saying is the yards per attempt thing, I don't care about that because I know why. I have a belief of why I think that is the case. And for if he was routinely missing open receivers, he would be on the bench.
Okay, well, you say, well, we can't just say that.
We already know. The coach benched him before. What would make you think he wouldn't bench him now?
Well, he got better, Will. You know, he got better.
That's what I'm saying. You're pointing out the exception and trying to make the exception the rule. That's not the rule. There are instances where he missed open receivers, and that's every quarterback in the NFL.
Okay, well, overall, you know what I'm saying, the bigger picture, I'm thinking team first, and Bryce Young is our quarterback, and we talk about the passing game, he's the engine of that. He's the engine. He's the conductor. He's the commander.
Okay. So let me ask you a question.
Let me finish this real quick, because when I keep bringing up the yards per attempt, I'm not nitpicking. I'm not, like I said, I'm not nitpicking. I'm not, trying to hate on them. But it's a very important thing when you talk about opening up your offense, and we talking about our running game and how teams load the box on us, and we want to change that. It starts there. Like, he has to pick that up. I'm not saying he has to go out there and lead the league in yards per attempt, but he can't be at the bottom. Like, that's not going to be.
So the offense yard per attempt is solely a quarterback stat.
Yes, because he's
no, it's not. No, it's not.
It is.
So let me paint a picture here.
Mm-hmm.
There are offenses that you're telling me only has one wide receiver, and because of the quarterback, he's going to be in the upper tier of yards per attempt.
Well, there's certain quarterbacks year in, year out.
No, it doesn't happen. The league is too good for that. The league is way too good for anyone to say that a quarterback will be able to, regardless of who his receivers are, or going to was going to be in the upper tier of yards per attempt, regardless of who his receivers are. That is not a logical conclusion that you can draw.
Quarterbacks are going to play their game. Like Matthew Stafford is a guy who's going to play aggressive. He's going to attack you down the field. It doesn't matter who's on the field. He's going to go out there.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
That's not true. So let me ask you a question. Why did they bring that guy in to help Puka Nacua? What's that guy's name?
Devontae Adams.
Say his name again.
Devontae Adams.
Why they brought Devontae Adams in? Why pay all that money for Devontae Adams if you could have picked Joe Schmidt-Lap?
Well, I mean, he was an upgraded talent to their team.
No. I don't want to hear that because Matthew Stafford. Hold on. So let me ask you a second question. So let me ask you a second question. Why did the Los Angeles Rams wanted to move up to 8 to pick Teteroa McMillan? Why?
They want their offense to be over the top.
No. Wait a minute now. You shouldn't need any of that. Because if you are a top-tier quarterback, according to your logic,
no. I didn't say nothing. Hold on. I didn't say nothing about a top-tier quarterback. I'm
talking about, would you say Matthew Stafford elevates the talent around him?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's going to go out there and play his game.
No, I'm asking a question.
Never going to be a check down Charlie. He ain't never going to be no check down Charlie, regardless of who his receiver.
No, what I'm saying is Matthew Stafford. Is he one of those people that you say elevate the talent around him?
Yeah.
Okay. Then why do they need Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and Teteroa McMillan? Why do they need them? They shouldn't need shit.
Like they wanted to be over the top.
Because if he can elevate the talent around him, why the hell they don't just sign DJ Chark for $1.5 million?
That wasn't my point of bringing up Matthew Stafford in this. My point was a quarterback, regardless of who your receivers are, if you got the best receivers in the league or the worst receivers in the league, you're still going to play your game. If you're a gunslinging quarterback, you're going to go out there and beat that. If you're a check down Charlie, you're going to go out there and beat that. Like you see,
no, that's not true.
Hold on,
I don't believe that.
Let me tell you,
I don't believe that.
Jalen Hurts with the Eagles. You know, he doesn't push the ball down the field as much as they wanted to. They got Devontae Smith, big time receiver, AJ Brown. Is he changing his game for those guys? No. That's why AJ Brown is not happy.
I can show you an example of the opposite. Let's look at Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, depending on who he has at wide receiver, is how we gonna get the ball out. Aaron Rodgers said specifically, if I throw you the ball and you drop it, know that I'm not throwing you the ball again.
Aaron Rodgers can do that though.
No, what I'm saying to you is quarterbacks know that they have to have receivers they trust. So Aaron Rodgers can publicly say that because he's Aaron Rodgers. Bryce Young can't publicly say that. That's just logical, man. Hey, I know we passed time, man. I got a couple of more minutes, man. I'm gonna have to wrap, brother. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get ready for work in the morning.
Me too.
I didn't realize that late.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this: when you talk about Aaron Rodgers and what you just said, like Bryce, I understand what you're saying about trusting your receivers and this, that, and the third. Bryce Young is not Matthew Stafford. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have the skin in the game. He hasn't arrived yet, especially walking into this season. in last season to not trust any receiver. How can he not trust anybody? Like that's basically so you're gonna just give up on him. You're not gonna give him a chance. Like
So let me
the
respond to
team is
that.
the team is not losing trust in you. They
So let me
still go
let me
out there playing
respond
for
to that.
you. So you can't go out there and not trust them. Like
That's not how that works. You know that's not how it works. Whether
I
you
believe
believe
it.
it or
I
not,
believe it is.
whether you
I
want.
believe
So
it
let me
is, and
let me
that's how
just
you build. That's how you go out there and
no
build
no let me
chemistry.
let me
Go
let
out
me
there
let
and
me
play
paint this picture
ball,
for
make
you.
the throws, make the mistakes, get it on film. That's where you fix it, and that's where you get better.
So now let me correlate this picture for you. When I use the analogy of Matthew Stafford, if Matthew Stafford can elevate players around him, he shouldn't need Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, and Tetaroa McMillan.
I
According to
don't
the
think.
logic of you need to
What do you
elevate
mean when
people
you say he
around you.
needs
That's
them?
number
What do
one.
you
That
mean
was
when you
number
say he?
one.
Hold
That
on.
was the number.
What do
I
you
just want to
mean?
make sure that the reason why I use that analogy. Then the second analogy when I talked about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has enough skin in the game to say that I won't throw you the ball and say that publicly. Bryce Young has not gotten that level of credibility in the National Football
No,
League
he
yet,
can't do
and
that.
that's not something he can say publicly.
But he
Number
can't play
three,
like that either. He
number
can't play
number
like that
three,
either.
number three, number three. If I throw you the ball and you don't run the route correctly, or whatever the case may be, and it's an interception, they're never
But
going to blame
but
the
Will,
receiver.
but
They
hold
will
on,
blame
Will,
me.
hold on, Will, because there's two ends of it. What about when the guys do run the route correctly and the ball don't
Hey,
come their way?
you don't know if they ran the
Because
route
that
correctly
happens
or
a
not
lot
because
too,
you
big
don't
brother.
know what route they were supposed to run. You don't know.
No, I'm saying, but we watch Panther football.
But you don't know if
Like,
he ran the right route.
but if you so every time,
Okay,
so you don't think it's time where guys run the right route and they don't get an accurate ball or the ball don't come their way at all?
so did you see that?
That
Did you
doesn't
see that
happen too.
interception that Bryce Young threw in the Tampa game? The Tampa game, the last game of the season, where Coca stopped on the route. Coca
Yeah.
stopped on the route, and then the ball sailed, and he got intercepted. So
Yeah.
that's a chemistry thing. Bryce Young thinking you're supposed to run through that. Coca thinking I'm supposed to sit in the zone. They talk about that. What I'm getting at is you for us to sit up here and say, oh, well, you're supposed to elevate team players around you. Well, why every other top tier quarterback need to get all these weapons? Don't give them no weapon. They shouldn't need them. Then when I talk about Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers saying what he's saying, Bryce Young ain't got enough skin in the game, but that's every quarterback believes that. He said that publicly. He says, I know that this is what I'm telling you. And then everybody was saying every quarterback doesn't publicly say it, but that is that every quarterback truly believes. That's how it works.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna have to we might have to run a part two, man.
Hey, we can run a part two if you like, man, but I'm gonna have to pop
for sure.
out like a newborn, man. I
Yeah.
gotta get ready. I'm flying out to Alabama, to Huntsville, Alabama, to a conference out there. So I gotta get my bag packed and all that stuff and get ready to go.
Well, I ain't gonna hold you, man. I appreciate you pulling up, man. For real,
Hey,
this
I
is a
appreciate it,
great
man. I had a
conversation,
great
man.
time, man. This was fun, man. Thank you for inviting me.
For sure,
You
man.
thought
For sure.
enough of me to invite me, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, for sure. I appreciate you pulling up, man. Real talk. Make sure you sub up, man. If y'all
Please like
watching,
and subscribe, man.
yeah,
Please
man.
like and subscribe and share the channel.
Appreciate that. But yeah, man. That's it, man. We gonna continue the conversation, man. It needs to be had. We need to cool down. There's a lot of heat going on between, our fan base, with this quarterback, man. We need to. I'm trying to just fan the flames, man. Just cool it down, man. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I'm saying?
got you, man.
We hit it up. You know what I'm saying? You see what Dan Morgan and them doing. We cooking right now, man. So we don't need to be at each other
Hey,
neck, man.
did you see Dan Morgan tell Bryce Young he loved him?
I saw that.
Okay, I'm just saying. When
I
people
said,
say that,
oh,
oh,
I
nobody
said,
don't believe
oh.
in Bryce, yada yada yada. You know?
But did you hear what Grant Tiller said?
No, what'd he say?
We'll talk about it.
Okay, we'll talk about it next time. All
We'll
right,
talk
man.
about it. Yeah. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right, Will, man. I'll catch you on the next one, bro. Appreciate
All
you.
right, man.
Yes, sir.
Later.
Top so much better than the bottom. You know, blue flying too short. I can't lie, dog. This shit feel good. We don't be on that shit we used to be on. Moved on, we on, we on. I'm talking so far gone tonight. Way too gone tonight. Where to the upper echelon? Ain't about to rob nobody, or shoot up no parties, or to kill nobody. But young nigga, each his own. Dog, you fetch your bone. Yeah. No bullshit, young niggas got old money. New guns don't jam and fresh blood smell funny. Out of Cali on edibles, nigga, my weed gummy. See my partner with $1 million in cash, but I ain't seen nothing. We up a couple plays, got my whole team stunting. We got the ball like your team punting. Too much weight on one side, got the beam jumping. I was moving mothballs and read up onions. When they was in them trap houses, I was short stopping. My brother murder case trial had the whole floor rocking. I met my plug in the pen and we still locked in. Me still in a robbing, that's like my fourth option. Rather be in that kitchen and get that fork popping. Champagne tops popping and the roof dropping. Street walkers on zombie missions, my pimp intentions. Allow me to sell her a dream of a paid tuition. I'm out of hours, the kingpins, but I made it different. Only rap what I seen and give y'all ass the vision. We don't be on that shit we used to be on. Moved on, we on, we on. I'm talking so far gone tonight. Way too gone tonight. Where to the upper echelon? Ain't about to rob nobody, or shoot up no parties, or to kill nobody. But young nigga, each his own. Dog, you fetch your bone. Automatic weapons by Smith & Wesson, I'm well protected. Duffel bag full of white faces that's beheaded. No doubt as to where I'm headed, I'm well connected. And one deal, my whole city, dope infested. Me and Tweezy and Lubbock, but we can't ball in public. With much success, our friends' hearts have turned corrupted. I stay close to the statement that money say we trust in. My social etiquette gentleman, no room for cussing. When you sitting at the table in the blood's discussion, we search for benefit, not consequence and repercussions. Cause the man will shed some light on his direction, he move us in. Put away the FNs, let's talk invest in 1031 life exchange. Keep your money protected. You can have what you netted. You can have what you gross by your own tax injection. You ain't gotta do those. Hard work is my definition of doing the most. We don't be on that shit we used to be on. Moved on, we on, we on. I'm talking so far gone tonight. Way too gone tonight. Where to the upper echelon? Ain't about to rob nobody, or shoot up no parties, or to kill nobody. But young nigga, each his own. Dog, you fetch your bone. Straight up, blue fun. Tryna hit big in this rap game shit. Something like tryna hit 10 on your point in a crap game. Yeah. And nigga, every bullet got a name, I don't shoot for fame. But this my shot. Straight up. Feel way better looking down to the bottom. Being at the bottom, looking at the top. Nigga, can't take my spot. Work hard for that. Everything I lost, nigga, I came back for that. Been there, done that, nigga, moved on. We on. All my niggas gone, we on. We on. We on, yeah. Got you, Q. Blue flame.